Okay, Google, tell me a joke.
This might make you laugh. How do bovines do math? With a calculator.
Dude, really? Okay, Google, tell me another joke.
This might make you laugh. Why did the banker switch careers? She lost interest.
Man, seriously? Dude, really? I mean, really? Okay, Google, tell me another joke.
Okay, here you go. What's a big dog's favorite pastry? A great Danish.
These jokes are very painful. It's that hurt real that really painful, not in a good way. Oh, Mitchell. Greetings. Well, greetings for tonight. Uh, Not sure where this is all going. Let's see. I want to go into a little bit more of Charles Hall into like future. You talked about the tall whites. I went into it a little bit yesterday. Of course, I didn't post anything. Of course, I didn't make anything. I came here ill prepared. Anyway, it's okay. Um, yeah, I came here very ill prepared. Anyway, it's okay. Uh, like with Charles Hall and the tall whites, he was describing a lot of what they looked like, and uh, I mean, yeah, he was talking about the tall whites how they carry around weapons. Oh, if I come to this world, definitely come here with a nuclear bomb. It's like, get away from me, human. Anyway, um, the reason for all of that, why I'm going into this is yeah, the channelings. I went to this yesterday. I'm going to it a little bit more. It's like, what is the end game? What's the whole point of all this? I mean, obviously, so we more know about ourselves, but it is through channelings we only get a certain amount of information. We might get some about their planets and what kind of hairdo they have and yada yada yada. But what's most important, at least from what well, it was my version of it, is that we evolve where we're no longer, you know, where it's more of a peaceful planet basically. It's not gonna be perfect, but you don't have to walk around with a big smile on your face all the time. But more, you know, friendlier world. Uh, no taxes, no what we have right now basically, just a more positive version of it. Basically, I mean, this is comes from other channelings, but I guess you could say I'm being directed into more of yeah ideas for us to become more empowered of ourselves, which I've already mentioned. But we're empowering ourselves to you know connect to our abilities, and most aren't ready for that. But those that are, you will continue on, obviously, and you'll people will learn from you. This is all about embracing ourselves, being less negative, more powerful in a positive way. Well, you're not perfect, so you have free choice. You can do whatever you want. But the idea is for you to, become more of a galactic being, basically. Where we can, have the downloaded channel knowledge to, we already have that here through inventors, but where you can download knowledge to build your spaceship or whatever and fly to another planet whenever you feel like, become more self sufficient here of more of a more positive environment all the way around. That's what all the channelings are about. That's what all this is about. Believe it or not, whatever, it doesn't really matter. Is are you going to change vibrationally? I'm not sure if a lot of stuff's your other channel. I don't pay attention to other channels, but people go to channelers to learn about themselves, enhance themselves. Some aren't involving, some are. Some don't aren't ready to do that, which is quite understandable. But the idea is for us to evolve more so we can get out of this shell that we've been in for such a long time. And of course, you're going to be heckled or whatever. That's just it doesn't really matter, because an idea for like trolling also is that where you don't get all crazy on it, that you handle it in a more positive way, but you handle it any way you want. You know, aliens get mad, they get frustrated. Humans get mad, we get frustrated. Also with Charles Hall, I want to go into that. Yeah, it was really fascinating. I'm being directed towards him for right now, at least. Yeah, he's not telling the full story of it. There, probably the tall whites are not exactly the most friendliest beings. Also, there are friendly ones. There are some that are not friendly, from what I'm gathering. So I think he's doing a more neutral, friendly version of it, which is fine. But I think for the most part is good information. I think for most of us, it's not all being brought out, which is probably good. I won't call it alien propaganda. I mean, sort of, but there is probably more to it than that. It's more of an unfriendly side that maybe he was not even involved with. But anyway, like with the Greys, he says with the Greys, they're kind of, he's like frightened of them, which is a good reason for it, but not all are like that. So anyway, so like with the tall whites, there's a lot of stuff. What was interesting when he said about how some of them had an issue with, like, when they get injured, which doesn't come through channelings. When they get injured, of course, it doesn't really matter. When aliens get injured, they have trouble healing. Depends on the being. It depends on many factors. But yeah, it's one thing about our DNA. It is highly unique for the other species. That's why we get abducted so many times throughout the centuries, because we're so unique. If you're a Zeta and you have no personality whatsoever, and you're just like a insectoid / amphibian / whatever else they are, some of them are, and you see us, it's like, whoa, I want to be a part of that. I want some of that when I collect. I want to build something up like that. So of course they're going to abduct you and whatever. Of course they wouldn't be involved with it. So we're like an orgy of different species. So we're very unique. We're not understanding it all. We're not really meant to fully understand it. But the idea is to basically come into our power, and we'll fully understand it eventually. Yeah, I don't think we're meant necessarily, eventually we'll start seeing more of the other beings when the time's right, so we can compare ourselves. But I don't believe there's a reason for it. You'll get certain indications if you need it. But for the most part, the idea is basically, this is like for certain individuals, this channel is kind of like a healing zone in some ways. It's just getting to know yourself better type of, we're just, you can call us crazy, it doesn't really matter. Not really hurting anybody, not really. I don't think we're hurting anybody at all. Just because we're not part of your average mindset doesn't make it wrong. It's just, of course, it's a little bit difficult living here because it's so out of place, so different from this reality. But the idea is to become more galactic, which came through other channelings, but I'm connecting more to, at least in the sense of, you just become more into our power, more into our abilities, so our senses open up more. When we get through certain situations that we're not exactly too pleased with, but we can see around, we can not take it too seriously, where negativity is, or normally it would be very negative, and you would soften a lot of that. So you're more, just more positive. So we're building on our old selves, becoming more, I wouldn't say, I call it galactically aware, but you can call it whatever you want, more spiritually aware, whatever, we're just, it's not really necessarily to focus on the alien, it's really focusing on ourselves, angels, guides, and the aliens will come in when they need to. So the idea is for us to just focus on the positive. It's like, we're like a tree, getting help here, and we're just becoming more known to our branches. We're like little trees. Like what is it like during World War II? It's like the children are about to blow their planet up. Yeah, in some cases, but yeah, they wanted to see what we were going to do in World War II, and also, I mean, I believe other worlds are quite protected, but yeah, obviously they're not. That's not continuing on as some would like to. Yeah, if that continued on, we wouldn't be here right now. So there's a lot of positive influence here. But the idea is for us to change our mentality of thinking. This is a new gen. And we're going to look at, like 20 years from now or 30 years from now. We're going to look at ourselves now and say, what were we thinking? Look like a bunch of Neanderthals. But in some ways we are, it just takes time to grow. It all has, it's all steps. There's idea to become more, some are mediums, some just connect to angels, which is fine. But of course there is much more connect to everything. And it just takes time to evolve. Many aren't ready to evolve, as you might be aware. They like the third density environment, but many are. But there are others that are ready to roll out of here, but not sure how to. Basically, it's patience, which is that's a fun one. Also making peace, but also manifesting what you want. Don't let go of your dreams. You want an alien to land or angel to, go to the bar with or whatever. Whatever your heart desires, I would, definitely want to continue with your heart desire, whatever it might be. And whatever universe you want to create within your mind is whatever that, won't let anybody take anything away from you, basically. And that is not, yeah, it's kind of hard to have a lot of conversations about it, like your own universe, your own imagination, your world. Maybe it's a bunch of canines, maybe it's the characters of Star Wars, will it more interesting, or whatever it is. What is your reality? You're opening up your own reality, you're opening up yourself. We're not limiting. So all we do is limit ourselves. That's all we're doing here. And to unlimit takes time. But how to do it? It's just, just one day at a time, basically. Not say I have all the answers. I don't have Grays coming up to me every day and getting advice from me or whatever. I don't have any of that. Usually I don't have a whole big alien presence around me that much. Mostly my guides are usually just so I get a sense of where I'm going, what to do, future. Not to say I get all the answers, not at all, because I go through my own test, and that's just something you might be aware of. But that's the idea is to not get crazy. Of course, that's easy to do, but even if you do, sometimes you need to let out some steam. That's definite. But it's just like some are having issues. Like people are becoming more aware of their alien friends, and they look at humanity as like, geez, like a barbarian world or whatever it is. And it is difficult living in this world because of that. And there are some, I think this is a problem from what I'm gathering. From what I'm gathering, not with me or not with a lot of people, some, where they connect to this stuff, alien. I mentioned this yesterday. It's like, they're like privileged. It's like, like connecting aliens and all that. And it gets kind of like an ego energy. Of course, some people see the same thing with me, but anyway. But it's kind of like some have the big egos, and it's like really strange. So that's a lot of understanding of that. So, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's just part of your. Of course, sometimes it makes it difficult for people to be around somebody like that, but it's all part of evolving. And you see how humanity is with their Kim Kardashians or whatever. So, I imagine that will get a lot of egos are going to run through it eventually. It's just the way it is. There will be a time, obviously, where more will connect to their angels, their aliens, and not care what other people think. Right now, we're in kind of the early stages of course, with Bashar and others, but it's going to become more of a thing eventually, and more accepted too. Definitely, it takes time, but the idea is to heal the soul, and for the soul to evolve into a channeler healer, just basically bringing more positive vibrations so one can communicate with one's guides. The idea is for you to communicate with their guides. Basically, yeah, like I call it the end game. I wasn't gonna really call it the end game. I'm gonna call this video call it the end game. Basically, what is this all about? Where are we heading? Because I was connecting to Charles Hall stuff. It was fascinating to hear because I've heard of Alex Collier's, and I know about Alex Collier forever. I wanted to connect to aliens, and actually, 2008. It's like, man, I want an alien best friend right now. I don't know how to connect to him. I didn't understand any of it. I was probably surrounded by a whole bunch of them. So anyway, it's like everybody else. So anyway, but yeah, hearing with Alex Collier and Charles Hall is a little bit, I don't know. Right now, I'm being directed towards that. For right now, probably others, but that one seems to be the strongest energy. But at least for me to basically, like, people aren't like, eventually channelers will bring in information about technologies. They already are, but like how to build them and stuff like that in due time. I'm not sure in my lifetime, but in due time, that's just an example of just more details. Not to say some aren't doing that already to a certain extent, but it's not necessarily needed. The idea, from what I'm gathering, is just basically heal the soul, heal our direction. No matter what you believe in or whatever, if you're not into Bashar, or you are in Bashar, or you're into this, and that doesn't really matter. Like, yeah, like even like some channel messages, I don't know if it comes through my channel, probably does. Like some are a little bit of drama energy around it, but some need that drama because you're coming out of a drama reality. You kind of need that. It's like some familiarity. So aliens can be probably have a lot of drama because they don't have all the answers. Some of them are afraid of future. They see future timelines. They get terrified because they see what we're doing. And not all of them are connected spiritually. Like, some of them are connected like a bunch of crazy. They get manipulated, but not always. Sometimes they connect to their guys are just as paranoid as they are. And so it comes through a channeling as paranoid. So, you have some of that. So, like, be careful on this date or whatever it is, that type of stuff. So, it's just like these beings are not perfect. Nobody is. Best idea has how we're evolving. And so it just feels like I guess I'm going through a turning point, I guess you could say, of direction. I guess that was kind of like an indication of it, of soul healing, basically. The idea is like being a little, maybe not different than yesterday, but maybe different. Next year you'll be totally different in a more awakened sense of your path, but not just yours, for others. Reach out to others. This will become more of a thing. As for just our connections, basically, it's like someone label it as psychic and whatever, or spiritual. It's just basically just connecting to your abilities in general. If you want to levitate, if you want to do whatever, it's just you're just connecting to you. I've said this stuff before in the past, but I guess it's but some it does feel like a lot of people connect to this, channelings, whatever, and you hear the messages, and that's great and everything, but am I really evolving? Even through my message, what comes through me, some aren't really evolving that much. It's like, yeah, that was interesting, but not really evolving. But every little bit matters in some ways, whatever message it is. like, it doesn't really fulfill me, but then this does or that does. But the idea is for us to become more empowered into our own abilities, where you have a more peaceful planet, less polluted. It'd be just that we get out of this mindset. I mean, we could probably still have sports, we'll still have all this stuff that will suffer. Pollution will probably change eventually, and the political climate will become less negative and more useful eventually. It all starts here. I mean, here in vibrationally. It's like, what kind of energy is sending out? So, like some in the news, not to mention names, are just on alternative media. Hints are angry all the time because part of the show. Uh, Trying to put out I don't know, good information, I guess, but still having a lot of anger there, whatever. But anyway, it's not. The less negativity, the more understanding of just our situation and where we're going. Nobody has all the answers. We're not supposed to. Aliens are not supposed to have all the answers. Some are a little bit more connected to a positive timeline where they're not seeing catastrophes, like some are. The idea for some are connected is catastrophe, probably because they're part of another timeline. And so it's very real to them. They're kind of living it. So it's understandable why they see it. They're living in this time why they're freaking terrified. So it's quite understandable. But others that aren't, and so to bring more of that positive vibration in, it's like, it's okay, don't worry about it. It's like, like economy and all that, it's quite understandable. So it just takes, it's just, but basically the message of all of this, the end game is basically finding ourselves. And this message comes out a lot. What's my meaning here? What am I here to do? Basically just to be yourself and just be you, basically. If find your path, basically. Your path is you finding your path. You'll discover it when the time is right. I've had I've been in what you call a desert period. I've lived that. It's not fun. And then channeling came and broke me out of that. But like a 10-year phase of nothing that exciting. And this is definitely, I'm still getting used to all this. I'm not used to this type of attention. YouTube's this is not anything I ever saw coming. So, not to say I was manifesting any of this, and just sort of something I was here to do. Not something I ever thought about doing, ever. It just sort of showed itself. So I just saw it, and it's just, it's like my guys are telling me I can do it. I can channel beings, but what is their, why am I channeling them? It's basically to heal the third density soul to go into a fourth density environment. It's not necessarily about the aliens and it is through their messages, and not about their haircuts and their clothes and whatever. It's about us transforming to a higher dimensional being. And it's just, I know I probably said this here and there, but I'm getting more focused on it, you can say. It's basically because people, I believe, find these channelings, mine or others, and aren't really clear on direction. It's like they are, but it's like, where am I going? Basically, the idea is to elevate your energies where you can become more of, I wouldn't call it self-sufficient. Is, of course, all need each other, of course, but is self-sufficiently energy-wise to basically connect to your guides. Of course, your guides will help you connect with others, but basically less reliant on low vibrations. Let's put it that way. That's kind of a weird way, but rest, because I believe some are seeing all of that and pushing it all away. Of course, some things you need to go through, which is part of life. You're not perfect, but also you're closing that chapter of yourself where you can now just, it's not always about the aliens, it's about you evolving in a way that does not really have a complete definition. Um, like you have infinite waters, nothing wrong with that. But I believe some are like passing through all that and going to more of the stars. Let's put it that way. Some are already there and have an agonizing time here because it's like, okay, why am I still on Earth? So it's like, yeah. So for that is, to share your knowledge with others, basically. What you're going through, your turmoil, whatever it might be. That's why I got Facebook, or if you don't, or that's why I have YouTube. Because definitely is always somebody going through what you're going through. But definitely it's a, because there's like 201, there's Infinite Waters, there's other stuff, and that's great and everything. But it does seem like many are already like past all that. Not to say you're perfect, not to say you have all that figured out, but you are like, don't need any of that. It's like, what's the 5 things to make myself a better person, or whatever, or 5 things to manifest, or whatever they have on their channels. And that's great and everything. But also, I mean, for all this, basically is a meditation, belief in yourself, believing in yourself. And I believe you'll also just to trust your instincts. Not to have fear. Of course, you're going to, fear is normal. Sometimes fear has a justification to it. If you're just not feeling comfortable about something, that's justified. It's probably not a good idea, but either way, is overcome your fears. Also, it all depends on the situation, what it is about. So, but it's just basically it's just evolving into a more 4th-dimensional mindset where you kind of like see the future a little bit more clearly, see yourself a little bit more brighter than just great, another day, or instead of being agonized all the time about not connecting to your star friends. It's like you're evolving so your star friends can reach to you more clearly, and ideas for self-healing, the ideas to clear out the self jargon, 3rd-dimensional, junkyard. I don't want to call it that, but anyway. So you can just evolve better and feel more closer to the spirit world. The spirit world will definitely welcome you, as many are not really identifying the spirit world that much. Well, those that are evolving do, but most of humanity kind of does, but doesn't really. So, because of, they do, but they don't. It's like, ooh, like I've heard in the past, it's like, oh, you connect to a spirit on the other side, you got to be nice to them, or be quiet with them, or give them time. They can instantly come to you, and it is good to be nice to them. But you don't have. You can say 4 whatever words, as long as you have a good positive energy around that. I don't think they care. Yeah, it's all your intent. But they're not babies. They're probably laughing at you actually by being so gentle with them because they don't care. So it's all part of the soul evolvement. But basically, it's just, I don't know. It's different for everybody in evolving to more of a 4th-dimensional mindset. But you just become more confident of yourself, and it just inner demons it does seem like a lot of them do close down. But you'll see your aliens when you need to. But the idea is for you to see yourself in a more, you look in a mirror, not be terrified, to look at your weight or whatever it is, whatever kind of issue you have, and not have a problem with it. Of course, not everything's going to be perfect, but, you might have a problem with it, but, not, you accept it instead of just hate yourself like a lot of people do. So it's just, I don't know, it's like layers among layers. I don't have all the answers, but, but the idea is for us to go into a higher dimension and is basically just having peace and patience and many other things that I don't know anything about. So anyway, I want to put that out there. It's just it does feel like some I mentioned this earlier, but some aren't understanding where they kind of know but not really. It's like, is this basically turning into like a superhero, you can say, because you get when you open yourself up, you can download more knowledge of technologies eventually, but mostly importantly, you just have more understanding of yourself, negativity being part of your daily life. So anyway, I want to put that out there. Anything from the Arcturians or anybody, basically, let's see, from the spirits, let's see. Basically, ideas to love yourself and not be offended, not to be offended by yourself, not to put yourself down. Some do it in a light way because of their sense of humor, but also they do that, but also lift themselves up. The idea is to lift yourself up. Feel more comfortable in your skin. Don't antagonize others for what they look like or what they wear. Just concentrate on you. You is what matters most. You know, the beautiful you, no matter what you look like, you all look different for a reason. Everybody has beauty in the mind of oneself. Many are getting confused on what beauty means. It's beauty of the soul, which many do not see. They see the exterior, not the interior. Just obvious, but still, not many go by it. There's a lot of programming in society today, obviously. Low vibrations, many are experiencing their dark sides, as you see. They're not willing to let go of their dark side. Their dark side goes into the third density also. So it's a third density school they're going through. Everybody's been there. Nobody's better than anybody. Just everybody handles it differently. And yeah, so it's the ultimate struggle here. Letting go of the past is very difficult, but also seeing the future. Many are terrified of the future, especially what they might look like, what they might not accomplish. And you just might not worry about those things. Just concentrate on now. Basically, self-love is the answer to everything. Self-love. Humanity is taught to self-loathe because this person looks like that. I should look like that. The idea is for self-love to open your communication with others and humanity. The more you love yourself, it'll be easier to communicate with others also. Because no matter what they say, they will not offend you or put you down because you have ultimate love for yourself. So no matter what they do or say, it doesn't matter. But it's also okay to avoid it, but also when the time comes when you can't avoid it, or everyone has their own way. Some don't want to experience that with good reason, but there's also critical thinking after improving oneself, so that's understandable, of course. A lot of the intentions are low vibration intentions, of course. It's like when you get criticized, there's low vibrational criticisms and there's high vibrational criticism. The high vibrations actually help you evolve even quicker. The low vibrations actually is there to bring you down. And yes, it helps you, but it's like almost getting hit in the chest almost. Where you can't, or hit in your throat where you can't breathe. Sometimes words can be that powerful. It is good to have criticisms, but yes, in more positive intentions. As humanity has it mostly wrong, because they have criticisms, but it's negative. It can be more positive, help elevate the soul. It's like, yeah, you're a poet, but you can work on this and this, but other than that, you have the right intentions. For example, it's like we still see where you're going with this. A more higher vibration does help the soul evolves. Like, because sometimes when people criticize you, you feel like, oh, I'm stupid, I don't mean anything. And sometimes those words actually mean that. And yes, it's a harsh reality, but humanity is still learning. Of course, you can grow from that, but it is like sometimes words can be more than just insulting. They can be, you know, like violent in some ways. But that's what humanity has to learn. Of course, as you evolve, you will, yes, become more easier hit by those words, but also you most likely be able to come out of those darkness of that feeling, that type of attack. Not all criticism is like that, but many are just trolls, etc. Because they want to. Sometimes the trolls, they want to bring you down to their level so they can control you, and be, and almost sometimes destroy you in some regard because they feel like they have ownership over you. Some do. So there's a lot to learn here. It says like a snake energy around that. So it tries to come off with good intentions, but not. Sometimes it's masked. So the education system's all wrong, of course. But basically, it's just to be yourself. And some are having difficulty doing that because of being accepted. But many of you are, all of us are cracking our shells to make what's on our mind more known. Many are keeping things quiet for right now because people don't want to hear it, they're not ready for it, etc. Those days will change, but when its time is right, because many are still going to reject it. And it's just not, it's like almost like interfering with their reality. It's like sometimes it's better just to keep things quiet. Depending, go by what you feel. Because it can bring some fear among people. You bring up like aliens or even angels or a spirit guy, that freaks people out. So you got to go by what you feel is right to bring these things up. There are always scenarios where there'll be a window for it. So, but the last thing you want is hostility to yourself. But of course, it's open to whatever wish you experience, of course. So anyway. All right, yeah, this is kind of a short. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is. Hopefully, this is helpful to those that are new to all this. So anyway, for those that are new to what I am and all this insanity, 1 second. I forgot to set all this up before I got here. Oops. Let's see here. For those that are new to all this, it's ivanteller.com. You can find out information of wherever you need to know about me. Is an about page. There's also private sessions where you're going to learn about your guides, spirit guides, everybody, alien guides, whatever it might be, to grow your spiritual direction. Google Hangouts, Skype, Zoom, and session by phone, whatever you like. We also have, you can join the webinar. That's twice a week, every week. For the most part, September. Some things will change, but I haven't set that up yet. And you can submit a question here. Usually it's 1 to 5 days to be answered. This is usually it's 5 minutes long. You get an audio file. Hopefully, if I don't miss it, there's also another payment method. You don't have to put all your information in. And we also have an iPhone and Android app to get quick links to everything. There's also Spirit Social and Ivan Teller Services, submit a question, past life regression healing, message from Yeshua, 5-minute healing, channeling consulting. Also, spiritual connections, 1 question from a day, balancing from a day, soul pain from Stephanie and Reiki, Galactic Angelic Reiki from Miguel. So this is all these services helps basically this broadcast to continue, and also helps raise the vibrations for those that wish to have their vibrations raised. So, all right, that's the message for today. I know it's kind of preachy in some regard. I'm not sure, maybe not. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's helpful some ways to those that have questions of what where all this is going, and basically as you evolve more, you will start to see your alien friends, but you'll know why you're not seeing them is because you have to work on yourself basically, and that's really it's all about us. I mean, you'll receive a telepathic message from them, which is great. Spiritual connection, which is great. But the idea is to, people on the UFO community want to connect to like what the aliens look like what kind of clothes they wear, whatever kind of ship they fly on, yada yada yada, what kind of government officials they talk to. But if you want to connect to all that, the idea is to connect to yourself and release all that basically third dimensional crap. Basically, it's basically just to clear yourself out. It takes time. So, and connect if you want to connect more with your aliens or your guides, you can. And everyone, there are alien guides. There's all kinds of stuff. So, realities that are absolutely crazy, different versions of Earth that are nuts. All the different versions of you are working with you, by thousands of them, probably. I know it's kind of hard to realize that, but you connect to another version of yourself. I don't think it's all that crazy. So I've had people, have dreams of themselves with somebody totally different, like married to somebody totally different than the person they're married to. So, that's another version of Earth. So there's all kinds of stuff out there. So, all right. So blessings, everyone. Have a great week, and see you tomorrow. Much love.